YouTube. It's your boy Carter TV. It's been a minute since I dropped stories. I just been dropping shorts. But I got a story for y'all. You feel me? I got a story for y'all. It's about these parents. And this guy named David, he meets a girl named Yolanda. So David is your average dude who is nerdy. He's in IT. He's into comics. He's into science. He's a nerdy dude, well put together. You know, he's school smart. He's not street smart. He's working in some type of company where he works in the IT department. So David having a regular day, and then he comes across this young lady named Yolanda. Yolanda works in the customer service department. See, Yolanda is like a little ghetto, little hood booger, a little bougie. She feels like she's above certain people. But when it comes to like people that makes more money than her, or the guys that she run into that make more money than her, she'll act bougie, she'll act preppy. But when she gets around like her friends and, you know, other guys that's not on her standards, she treats them like shit, right? So they meet on the elevator. It was a regular day. It was a rainy day at that. Now, Yolanda is a brown-skinned joint. Nice sized tits, thick booty, nice hips. Brown skin. David he's a chocolate guy. He about 6'7". You know what I mean? Well-groomed. Well put together. A little muscular. But he's not physically like athletic and stuff like that. But he got the body, he got the build to be, but he's not. They meet on the elevator. She found him attractive. He found her sexy as fuck. And, you know, David's thing with women was like short-lived because of his nerdiness. You know what I mean? His performance in bed is not so good. So he meets Yolanda, whatever. They meet. They find each other attractive. They act a little nervous around each other for a little minute because she thinks he's some type of rich guy. He thinks she's some sexy, beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Not knowing her background, not knowing his. They meet, they talk for a little minute. They go their separate ways. Then they come across each other again later on throughout the day. Now, David drives a Mercedes-Benz. He has his own crib. He has a loft crib. Yolanda lives in the projects. She lives with her mom and her sisters. And she shares a room with one of her sisters. And they sleep on bunk beds. So she was like mad that she just missed the bus to go home. Now she got to wait for another one, and it's raining outside. She ain't got no umbrella. So David comes, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I seen you this morning." She was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He was like, "You all right?" She was like, "No, I just missed the bus to go home and everything." So David was like, "Hey, where do you live? I'll give you a ride, or even closer, somewhere you can get to home closer." She's like, "Nah." I was like, "You sure? You sure? It's pretty nasty out here." So she like, nah, like she kind of brushed him off like, nah, I'm good. Like, he said, "Okay, you have a good night." He left. Then she see him get in his car and pull off, and she like, damn, this nigga, oh, okay. She seen that and was like, damn, I should have really see what he was about. So the next following day, she come in, she wearing some shit where her titties is popped. You know what I mean? She got the lip gloss on, her hair snazzy, her makeup on fleek. She looking scrumptious, you feel me? So she see David again. She was like, "David, right?" He was like, "Yeah, how you doing?" He was like, "Yolanda." He was like, "Yeah, nice to meet you." It was like, and he was like, "You looking very beautiful today." And she was like, "Oh, thank you much. You know, I just do something on, you know." So she like low-key flirting with him. She was like, "You don't look bad for yourself." She was like, and then, you know, his flirting game is not so strong. You know what I mean? It's not so, it's just on a cute. And he was like, start acting shy. So she was like, "David, by any chance, are you doing anything after work?" And he was like, "No, except go home, probably read, watch TV. What do you have in mind?" So she's like, "Hey, let's hit the bar. Let's go out to eat, whatever." So David was like, all right, I'm down for that. So they go out to eat, drink, chill. He pays. Well, she was hoping he pays because she ain't had no fucking money. She ain't had no fucking money. So, and he don't notice certain things. He's not that type of guy to be peeping the situation. He's just excited that a fine-ass woman is into him. So they start talking. They getting to know each other, whatever. He's like, you need me to take you home? And she was like, oh, you could take me home. Instead of going all the way home to the projects, she gets dropped off in front of her friend's crib who lives in a brownstone. So she gets dropped off there and whatever. She was like, it's my crib. She's like, all right, well. He don't try to go his way up the stairs. He was like, I just want to make sure you get in the crib or whatever. Oh, she was like, oh, thank you. So she actually just go in the lobby way to make it look like she's going in the crib, and he peels off. So she goes upstairs, talk to her friend. She was like, bitch, what you doing here? I'm getting ready for my man. Girl was in her lingerie. She's like, I thought you was my man and shit. She's like, I just had a date with one of the dudes for my job. He's fine as shit. He got a nice car. So she's like, bitch, why you ain't go to his crib? She's like, I want him to think I'm moving too fast, She's like, bitch, well, you can't stay here because my man's coming. And she said, you had him drop you here? She was like, yeah, I don't want him to know I live in a project. She said, well, if that man is so put together, go to his crib. See what his crib is like. She's like, bitch, you right. So just then, her homegirl, her man comes. Her man comes or whatever. Then she goes home. She's like, damn, my whole situation is nasty. I got to do better. So she ends up talking to David. She ends up getting his number and whatever. She get his number and they text throughout they've been texting and, going out lately. They've been doing that. They've been going on dates. David been paying everything. So the relationship starts to get rocky at a certain point. It's been about a year into the relationship, right? She been to his crib. She been staying over there most of the time. She been bringing on her stuff. She starts being controlling. Who you talking to on your phone? Let me see. So after she starts to be there frequently and then basically move herself in, gets a key, move herself in, basically takes over his whole crib. She's amazed at his crib because how nice it is. It's big, spacious. It's enough room to do this and then a third. So he you my girl, whatever, move in, whatever. He starts to pick up on certain signs like she's controlling, she's bipolar, she's very demanding, she wants to spend all his money. He don't tell her about his financials. He just say, I do good for myself. So she take that and be asking him for money. He be like, you work, why don't you never got money? And she's like, and she kind of manipulates him and be like, well, I'm your girlfriend. Aren't you supposed to take care of me? And he was like, you don't even take care of me. She said, don't I give you good sex? Don't I suck your dick? I was like, that's all you can do? That's all you got to offer? So when he said that, he kind of well, damn, you mad ungrateful. Maybe I'll just take my talent somewhere else, manipulating him, making him feel bad. So he whatever. He kind of nah, don't do that, babe. It's all right, it's cool. I'll give you a little bit of money. He been giving her $1,000. Sometimes 2,000, sometimes 3. So on that, she just pleases him. And she thinks she's doing good by just pleasing him. Little sex, little head, boom, blow his mind. He get right. She ends up pregnant, right? She ends up pregnant a year of being in with him. They have a baby together. She wants to get married. He don't want to marry her because too many red flags that he started to notice. Too many things that he's talking to his homeboys about that he don't like about her. So he tell her yo, some things got to change. She just had a baby. They had a little girl. They named her Star. They named the little girl Star. So he was like, oh, what you mean? She's like, what you mean things got to change? Your behavior is why, all this controlling, bipolar shit it got to change. He's like, she's like, oh, why? What's wrong with the way I am? I was like, it's not healthy. 1 minute you mad, 1 minute you happy, 1 minute you sad, 1 minute you screaming and yelling and all that. I don't know how to deal with shit like that, and you're not communicating with me. So she didn't communicate with a lot. So on top of that, they was having their differences due to the fact that she don't communicate. She don't bring nothing to the table. All she do is run up his money. She takes the daughter everywhere with her. Don't let him take the daughter to see the family. So this been going on for like the first 3 years of the little girl. So David done had enough. She had a whole party at his crib while he was at work, like a little get together. People was in there smoking, drinking. She had the whole hood in there, and they kind of was bullying him, and she noticed it. So she kind of like used that to bully him even more by getting the dudes come around, And then it got to the point where she started sleeping with other dudes. She started sleeping with other men while he wasn't home. And he would come home and see them still there. Like, she would disrespect this man to the fullest. She would leave the baby wherever and be like, I don't give a fuck about that nigga. He ain't gonna do shit. So he got fed up with it. He decided he was moving out. He moved out the crib and he didn't tell her. So she woke up one morning to, like, the landlord was like, what are you still doing here? David moved out. Why are you still here? And she like, what? David moved out. He's like, yeah, you ain't supposed to be here. You got to leave. So she got mad about that. Ended up going back to her mom's with the baby. David ends up moving out. He ends up trying to get up with her, but she's on some bullshit. So she was like, she threatened him with child support unless you just give me money every week. So David was like, all right, fuck it, I'll give you money. It got to the point where she was just like very manipulative, controlling, abusive, all types of shit. So David got fed up, was like, I'm done with this. They end up going their separate ways, and she threatened with child support so he can give her money. She ends up losing her job because she thought David was her ticket out. Until David had his ways, he didn't want to deal with certain shit. Fast forward about another 2 years, the little girl's 5 years old, right? He hasn't seen his daughter since she was 3. So he ain't seen her in 2 years. The family's kind of like, yo, what's going on with the little girl? So one day he spots her. He was driving home from work. He found out she got fired. Driving home from work, he spotted her. She in the street. She getting on the bus. He followed the bus, wait till she got off. He seen that she went to the projects. She was like, oh, this bitch live in the projects. So he followed her. Right? He watched her in the lobby. She was the only one in the elevator. So she went to a certain floor. I think it was about like the 6th floor. Went to the 6th floor. He took the stairs and he creaked open the exit door. And he see her going into one of the apartments. He found the apartment. Boom. Found out where she lived. He returns back to the apartment about a few days later, knocking on the door. She's not there. Her mom answered. And he was like, who is this fine young man at the door? And he's like, is Yolanda here? And she was like, no, she stepped out. I was like, you know when she'll be back? He's like, no, who are you? I was like, I'm David, Star's dad. She was like, oh, okay. Come in. So the mother talking to him and everything, this and that and the third. And she was like, yeah, the baby's here. You want to see us? Like, yeah. So the little girl run to her dad. Hey, daddy, And she was like, Grandma, this my daddy too? So when she said that, David looked like, what she mean by that? Well, she was like, if you don't know, Yolanda's been having your daughter around other men, and she think they're their dad, and this and that and the third. She don't do too good. And the mother was basically encouraging him, like, I think you should take the baby because Yolanda's not doing good. She using you for child support. She ain't got no job. Right now, she's probably with another whole dude. Leaves the baby here. I can't really take care of the baby. I'm old. Her sister's too young. She's still in high school. She's not a fit mother. So you have to make best of the situation the best way you probably can. You might want to take her to court for full custody. So in the midst of them talking about that, David was like blown away by all this information. As if the conversation was still going on, Yolanda pulls up with like another dude. And him and the dude get into it. It's like, yo, leave, nigga. Get out shorty crib before I pound you out. David was like, I ain't going over there with my kid. And then boy flashed his gun like, what? You ain't doing what? So David see the gun and like, you know what? Fuck you, Yolanda, I'm out. She like, fuck you, David, you'll never see your daughter again. He said, it's all right. I'll be back for my kid. So David, he finally becomes a different type of person. He started going to the gym. He started learning how to fight. He started, pumping the iron. He go to the boxing gym, started learning his hands. He started learning all this shit, right? Then he gets wind of something happening to Star, the little girl. And Yolanda's not returning phone calls. She don't stay with her mother no more. She just completely go off the grid. And the little girl just like, is not being thought about or talked about no more. So an ad comes up of a missing child. She files a missing child report of her daughter missing. Right? This happened like 3 months later. She files a report, the daughter missing. She ends up doing this because he told her, I'm taking you to court for full custody. So she comes up with a plan, some fake plan, right, for kidnapping. She's missing, da-da-da-da. She's going all over the news about it, da-da-da. It's going on for about a year. This is going on. Daughter's missing, nothing's going on, da-da-da-da. They investigating it. David is like, what the fuck? My daughter's been missing this whole year. The police come to him. They asking him questions. He don't know. Him and the mother's not been seeing eye to eye. Last time he was there, it was almost an altercation. I told her I was going to take her to court for full custody. And then ever since then, my daughter's just all of a sudden missing now. So the cops look into Yolanda. Still nothing. They couldn't find nothing on her. Right? This been going on. So David do his own investigation. He doing his own investigation. Looking for his kid. Last place she was at. He's talking to the girls in the neighborhood about Yolanda. Yolanda done move somewhere else. She live in these peas over here with that dude. So he go over there to that, location. He's scoping it out. He doing homework. He's like, I gotta find my kid. My daughter missing. So he get over there and one of the ladies notices him like, you don't look like you belong over here. You from here? He's like, nah, I'm just looking for somebody. And he got the paper with the missing girl in his hand. He was like, oh, Star. That was a precious little girl. It's messed up what happened to her, though. So he like, what happened to her? He was like, you know her? He was like, yeah, I'm very familiar with the little girl. And the lady tell him, like, something with the mother, she did something funny. And then all of a sudden, the little girl went missing. Like, she took the little girl somewhere. She was telling one of the guys. And when she came back, the little girl was not with her. And then the lady points to the guy that she told him to. So he walk up to the dude, was like, yo, you know Yolanda? He's like, yeah, I know that bitch. Why, what's up? You trying to fuck or something? Nah, man, I'm just trying to find my kid. Your kid? You got a kid with the bitch? Oh, yeah, you wildin'. Oh, you the goofball that she be getting for the child support. You got the money on you? The boy trying to touch him. So David, like, slap his hand. He's like, yo, boy, what's going with you? Like, nigga, what's... And then David like, yo, don't touch me. I'm here to ask you about my kid, and you trying to check my pockets? So the dude like, boy, I'll crunch you. So David, he's like stepped back with his left foot and straight hooked him. Boom! Crunched him. He was like, you gonna do what? So the dude like, nah, man, nah, I ain't on that. The dude like holding his jaw. He's like, I think my jaw broken. So he tell the dude, he say, where Yolanda took my daughter? So he basically tell him she took him out to the suburbs. I think to kill a little girl, had a little girl killed so you can never find her. For what? What's location? So the dude give up the whole location. He go there. He find his daughter dismantled. He find that little girl dismantled, chopped up, body parts everywhere. So he called the authorities, alert them, and they put it out there that they found a little girl. So Yolanda, like, she blown away because she found out he found out the information. So she called up, like, she tried to reach out to David. It's like, hey, they found a little girl, da-da-da-da. Okay. So she like, why you acting like nonchalant with this? Like, our daughter's been missing. And so he like, oh, well, you ain't tell me none of this. I had to find out on my own. He basically found out through the streets that you killed the kid. And he didn't say that to her, though, but he was like, I found out through other people that you did something to our little daughter. He was like, why would I do something to our daughter? This and that and the third. So she go, oh, I ain't do nothing, this and that and that, well, this and that and that. So he like, yeah, all right. So they found her. They found out that she was chopped up. They talking to Yolanda, da-da-da-da. She ends up getting charged for murder. And she ends up having to give up the dude who actually killed the little girl. The boyfriend. She gave him up and everything. She ended up doing like 45 to life. The dude ended up getting life in prison. Everybody in the neighborhood was like shocked that she would do that. And they said the motive was so the father don't get full custody and she could get him for child support. Be careful who you have your kids with, man. Be careful what women you lay with. Be careful what men you lay with. Not everybody's fit to be a parent. Not everybody has the intentions on being a parent once they are a parent. You feel what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Just because it look good don't mean it's all gold on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Learn from other people's experience. Read the signs. Read the red flags. Just because she look good don't mean she is good. Just because he got money don't mean he good money. You know what I mean? It's your boy Carter TV, man. I'm out, y'all.